Virtual points are a component within the 2D feature tracking toolkit. Virtual points are points which do not exist on their own. Rather, they are defined relative to other features or tracked values. The Virtual Point Settings dialog can be accessed within the Settings panel of a new 2D feature. Click on the wrench to open the settings for the selected feature. Click the Set button under the Virtual Points area. This will bring up the Virtual Points Settings dialog. Virtual points can be simplified into two distinct groups: virtual points imported from other toolkits like 1D tracking, contour tracking, and particle tracking, and virtual points generated from existing points. In this video, we're going to examine generated virtual points. There are 6 main types of generated virtual points. Midpoint. This defines a virtual point as the midpoint between two other features. Proportional distance along line. This defines a virtual point as continuing along the line at a proportional rate, with a value of 0 representing the first point, a value of 1 representing the second point, and a value of 2 representing a point twice as far. Circle fit center. This defines a virtual point as the center of a circle comprised of 3 points. Fixed offset. This defines a virtual point as a fixed value away from another feature by a set x and y value. While these pixel values can be predetermined based on the calibration information, it is more common to simply use the Use Current Reticle Point button to visually select this point. Rotational and distance offset. This defines the virtual point as a point located at a fixed angle and distance offset from a line connecting two other points. While these values can be calculated, it is far more common to simply use the Use Current Reticle Point value to select this point. 4-point angle joint. This defines a virtual point as a point of intersection of two lines formed by 4 points. One of the most powerful uses of generated virtual points is in relative position tracking of rigid bodies. An offset virtual point allows ProAnalyst to perform position and motion calculations based on a point adjacent to a feature, assuming that the motion and point are within the same plane. If the point of interest gets obstructed, goes off the edge of the video, or enters a poorly lit portion of the video, ProAnalyst is still able to track that point of interest. In this example, we use virtual points to track the motion of a robotic arm. This video was recorded at 19,000 frames per second. Due to the speed of the motion and the available lights, the lighting conditions are not optimal, and the tip and elbow of the arm are not visible during the entire motion. There are, however, several very bright and visible bow tie targets placed on the arm which are easily visible and accurate to track. We can track these targets with sub-pixel levels of accuracy and then transfer that accuracy to our virtual points. The first step is to create the referenced features by tracking the target using automated tracking. These features were all tracked with special target types. At least 2 points need to be tracked on each independently moving object. In this case, we track 3 for each of the upper and lower arm portions. Once the reference features are created, we can start adding virtual points. To access the virtual points, add a new feature, and then click the wrench to open the settings for that feature. Click Set to set a virtual point. In this instance, I'm going to use feature 1 and 2 to create a point representing the tip of the arm. Because the arm rotates through the video, I will need 2 points to calculate this value. I will use rotation and distance offset to calculate this virtual point. I'm going to scrub through the video to find a point where the tip of the arm is clearest. To set this point, I simply need to select the point using my reticle in the video and click the Use Current Reticle Point button. This automatically calculates the angle and distance offset for this virtual point. Click Apply. We now have added a virtual point. A combination of rotation and distance offset points and midpoint virtual points have been used in this example. Once the points are accepted, we can see that the virtual points are now similar to interpolated points, and they can exist outside of the bounds of the video. All of these points are associated to the original tracked points, and any changes made to the tracked points will update within the virtual points. If you would like to disassociate the virtual points from the linked tracked points, you can do so by converting them. To convert a virtual point, use the Convert button inside the Virtual Point panel. Once you click Convert, these are no longer virtual points. They now exist independent of any other trackings, and these points can be refined, deleted, and altered just like any other feature tracked point.